Hello, bearded bee people. Welcome back to bkbees. I have had kind of an inability to create videos lately because we're running around trying to stay ahead of things, and it's not quite so relaxed in the bee yards right now because, I mean, as today, I've got three yards to work. I have to get these boxes on, have to get some frames pulled so I don't lose swarms, have to get boxes on so that I don't lose out on some of this surplus honey that's coming in and some of this nectar that's coming in pretty heartily right now because the sumacs are blooming, the locusts are just finishing, and there's all types of other like secondary or lesser honey plants that are popping right now. But I broke this one open, and I mean, it looks great. It's a single, and then this is their honey box, which you can tell is being paid attention to in just the exact way I would like to see. But I wanted to talk a little bit about, you know, what I have to do throughout this portion of the year in regard to singles, and that is making certain that this box has empty cells for the queen to lay into. And so, for the most part, if in a single above the queen excluder they have drawn frames, they will do everything they can to keep the honey out of this area. And that is what you're seeing here. This box is pretty light, jam-packed full of brood. But one thing that they have a lesser ability to move around is pollen. And my headphones are falling off me. It's pollen. And boy, do we have a lot of pollen. I mean, we really do have a lot of good natural forage around here. And so frames like this are just kind of clogging stuff up. So what I'm about to do is pull this up above a queen excluder, let them backfill the rest of it with nectar, and give a blank frame down below. I will have to pay attention to make sure that they don't make cells on this frame, because sometimes if you pull eggs and young larvae up above a queen excluder, they will think that that's cue to make cells, and that's not what I'm trying to get them to do. But I am going to pull this up above just to give a little bit more room down here. So I'm checking for the queen, and I don't see her, so I'm going to now you can see the frame a little bit better. They can only really access this portion and a little bit up here in terms of brood. And then on this side, it's a similar story. Brood here, but bee bred just about everywhere else. So I am definitely going to pull this one up above. And give them a blank one. So the rest of this stuff is largely brood. This box is just about as light as you'd expect it to be without any honey, and the box up above the queen excluder has got probably about 60 or 70 pounds of weight to it. So it's just an example of what I was saying. They realize they need space here, and they can move honey around so easily that they do. So this is their outside frame, and just more bee bread, but that's okay for an outside frame. I'm cool with that. But that's more evidence to the fact that they didn't need all that bee bread in this box. So I'm doing that a lot in the singles. Not every honey hive we have are singles. In fact, we've got a great assortment. We have some box and a halves with a deep and a medium. We have some doubles, and we have some singles. And it's largely because of the kind of inconsistent nature of the equipment we have. I started off this year adding honey boxes up above single brood chambers because we had a lot of drawn comb. And then as it kind of dwindled, the drawn comb, I had to start adding second brood boxes. Because it's real critical in my mind to make sure that you have drawn comb up above the queen excluder for that first box up above the single, because otherwise you're going to just have a backfilled brood nest and you're going to lose swarms. So I have singles, I have doubles, I have 1.5s. and so I have to treat every hive differently. In the future, I would very much like to be running only singles for everything, but that'll be down the line when we are more even and more plateaued in terms of the growth and the equipment needs. So I'm gonna keep going through some of these hives out here, and I'll bring you along with. I can't really get back here very well. There's so many ticks in this yard that I don't like pushing myself up against this brush. I suppose I should have my smoker with me. That's another pretty heavy honey box. It's like they're working one side of it though, which would indicate that they're probably working one side of down here, and that's true. Alright, so this is empty and I can checker it in. Okay. I'm not going to add another honey box, even though the one is just as heavy as the one I did add another honey box to, but they have more work down here to do than the other ones, and they've got a couple of what appear to be completely empty honey frames on this side. Oh, never mind. That's not empty. It's not super heavy, but it's not empty. So now they've got honey in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of 9. So I think I am going to add another box. Now, for a bunch of reasons. First of all, because there are sheets of capped brood in there, so the population is going to continue to grow. And second of all, the largest honey plants, the biggest hitters of our honey season are hitting right now. So I don't want to miss out on any of that. So I am going to add another one when I thought I was not going to. And you see the ones in the box below are not pushed together, but that's because they're drawn. So when they're not drawn, push them all together and make sure that those cells are going to be facing the direction that you want them to. Okay. Now, we'll get into the truest definition of the word single. I think this was a split last time I was out here. So there's probably not a whole lot I need to do. See these big ass ants. Okay, yeah, I don't need to do anything here. I don't think that queen's laying eggs yet. Or she is, and either way, she hasn't had enough time to fill it all up, and I've got more important hives to be messing with. Not that this isn't an important hive. I've got more important things to be doing to these hives than spreading a thin split out. Like I said, I have other stuff to do today, and these honey plants are popping, and our time is limited. Okay, eggs and larvae, same thing here. Big old booty queen that I just saw on this frame. Right there. Okay, so this is on the verge of spreading them out a little bit too thin, but nights are warm, the nectar's flowing, so I'm gonna do it like that. Alright, so I don't know where that video cut out at the other yard, but just kind of to recap, what I'm doing today is going through honey hives and pulling frames from the brood areas, pulling capped brood, pulling pollen, checking for queen cells, that kind of thing, trying to ward off swarming and trying to maximize our take of this surplus honey and make sure that there's extra space for these bees to place that stuff. So now that I'm done out here, this yard looks really, really pretty good. I'm happy with it because we were forced to take a lot from some of these hives toward the beginning of the year. We got a few bees who are taking offense to me just standing here. We took a lot from these bees at the beginning of the year, more than we'd wanted to, because this is a honey yard, but we were trying to get mating nukes populated and all that kind of stuff. So I didn't know how much honey this yard was going to put up, but it looks like it'll end up being probably what I had hoped and what I had kind of sort of expected. You know, some of our hives are getting tall. Some of them aren't, but some of these are singles with heavy brood honey, what the hell is that? Heavy honey boxes up above the brood area. So I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the amount of splits I had to pull. It wasn't crazy. I didn't really lose a whole lot of swarms. I prevented some. I would have lost some had I gone another week, but now we have, you know, another 8 to 10 nukes to do something with. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing right now, just trying to make sure that we aren't behind when basswood hits and the milkweeds really truly start to pop. The sumac is blooming now, and these bees are just going nuts for it. I don't know if you can see them flying in the air, but it is a busy, busy highway here in front of these hives. So I'm going to get out of their way and let them continue doing what they're doing. I hope your honey boxes are getting heavy as well. Let me know what's going on with your bees in the comment section below, and I'll chat with you about it. I hope everything's going well. Thank you very much for watching. Get out there and have some fun with your bees. See ya.